Hello there, Dr. Dan Miller, Historical Solutions, LLC. You're on the 250 River with Dr. Dan. We're episode 44. I want to welcome you. This is the week ending September 25th, 1775. So we will not have a full week left in the month of September, so we're just tipped over right into fall right now, 250 years ago, just like it is today. One of the greatest times of year in my view. Let me sip my coffee. Perfect. And it is great to see you, absolutely. Boy, we've got a special thing that we're doing today. So we are on the 250 River with Dr. Dan. We are in our normal segment and kind of mental frame of the top five from 250 years ago in the week ending, in this case, September 25th, 1775. But we're going to do something a little bit different. I'll get to that in a second. And I want to thank this week's sponsor, who is the printer of the Hartford Courant newspaper in Hartford, Connecticut. And the printer wants to share with you that there's a young man who wants to be a tutor, Tutor, wants to be a tutor in a gentleman's family. This young man will come to that gentleman's family with a long history of experience in being a tutor to or toward youth for young people. Does not specify male or female, man or woman, boy or girl, doesn't specify that, just youth. Long experience, good record, deep understanding of how to serve as a tutor to youth. So, the printer of the Hartford Courant says if you're interested and you are a gentleman, gentlewoman with a family and a youth or some set thereof, and you'd like special education with a one-on-one tutor, we've got a person for you to consider. Contact us at the Hartford Courant. Thank you to the sponsor of episode 44 on the 250 River with Dr. Dan. Now let's get to it. Shall we? Let's get to it. Kind of doing, let's do 5, 4, and 3 all rolled into one. All right? And this is very personal and very individual for you and me, and I think anybody, really, who's aware of what's going on. Very personal. So we've got two fathers and sons. By the way, this is all on the website, historicalsolutions.com, under Americanism Redux. Look for the entry that says September 25th, 1775. We have two fathers, two sons. Let's start with Massachusetts and Boston. Josiah Quincy Sr. He wrote a letter to someone 250 years ago, and in the letter that I read, I could just feel the guy just descending emotionally, starting out kind of a rational, very rational, methodical level, dipping down a bit into some more reaction-based, emotional-based thoughts, and then just full on into thoroughly emotionally soaked and trauma-based behavior. See, his son Josiah Jr. had told his dad about a year ago, Josiah Jr. very smart, so Senior. Dad, I'm going to England, Dad. Dad, I'm going to England. And I want to see what I can do, Dad, to stop this thing. I want to see what I can do to stop this imperial crisis, this imperial colonial crisis from getting worse, from from protest to violence to just hell. I want to stop this thing, Dad. I can do it. I can be part of the voice that stops this thing. So he gets on a boat and he goes to England to meet with people, meet with government officials, lobbyists, and so on, because Josiah Jr. is very well educated, very persuasive, very intelligent individual, the kind of a youth that our tutor wants to produce, right, in a gentleman's family, or any family, really. So that's what Josiah Jr. does. He goes over, doesn't work, it doesn't succeed, he comes back home, and on his trip home, as he's getting closer to the Massachusetts coast, he gets sick. Ultimately tuberculosis. Ultimately, within sight of the shore of Massachusetts, Greater Boston, within sight of the shore, he dies on the ship from tuberculosis. This is Josiah Quincy Jr. Senior, by the way, the death was about 5 months before Senior writes the letter that I read. Not surprisingly, Senior is a long, long way from being over that. And so he really just spins downward into his outlook or downlook, as you might want to call it, in seeing the worst of the worst and really wanting to seek vengeance on people who he sees as the absolute source of the problem and of the evil, and that's of people from Massachusetts who have turned against the colonies, who have embraced England and imperial rule and all of that. They are the cancer we've got to eradicate. Father and son. Go on down to South Carolina. We get our second pair, father and son. Henry Lawrence writes to his son, John Lawrence, who's also in England, also very bright, very intelligent. He's learning to become a lawyer. He's at one of the best law schools in Western Europe. Over there, he's also got a couple of siblings there with him, so he's lugging the schoolwork, the law school burden, and he's lugging along the responsibility for looking after the siblings, and he's doing great at both. But boy, he's itching, man. He's itching to get involved. He knows what's happening in terms of the colonies and the empire, and gosh, he wants to go head first into this. And it's not that he wants to solve it, Dad, like Josiah Jr. did a year ago. It's John wants to, I want to be in it, Dad. I want to do it, Dad. I don't want to be somewhere where the action's not, Dad. And so Henry, the dad, Henry Lawrence, writes this letter to him and basically tries to calm him down, basically tries to focus on your schoolwork, John. Focus on the schoolwork. Focus on family over there, John. I'm dependent on you for your schoolwork and for you to take care of the siblings who are there with you. And then John will talk about what happens next. But for the moment, for the foreseeable future, schoolwork, family, and then we'll talk next. So, I mean, he doesn't know about Josiah Jr., hundreds and hundreds of miles north of him. But he might as well know real well about him, because he's trying to avoid a fate that befalls another dad, Josiah Sr. So that's 5, 4, and 3 on our list of top 5 right there. Almost eternal, I think, in the power of that. Now let's set it aside and let's finish up with number 2 and number 1 together. I had something happen this weekend. Epiphany. Many of you know me, maybe you know me, I don't know. I'm a word guy, so I don't throw words around carelessly or thoughtlessly. You may not agree with the words, but they've not been just blurted out without anything behind them. So I don't tend to throw out a word like epiphany very often. Well, I had one this weekend, and I think that I've been talking a lot, and if you haven't heard it yet, you're going to hear it now. I've been talking a lot. One of the big discoveries, I think, of what I've been doing here for Americanism Redux is to get you to reorient your thinking. It's not an American nation that's created. It's an American union that's created first. Union first, nation second. Declaration of Independence, that's a nation thing. But that didn't just come out of nothing. That came out of a gestation period, right? In the womb, if you will, of the idea of union. Abraham Lincoln thought this too, and Abraham Lincoln was right, as he was from just about everything. And I agree with him, and I've had the blessing and the fortune to be able to bring that up to a more clear, what I hope is a more clear level of understanding. Union first, nation second. That's not the epiphany. Here's the epiphany. I've got 2 places absolutely perfect in mind, and nobody's talking about this. And I want you to talk about it. I want you to think about it. I want you to get both arms around it. So we have Union first, Nation second. We have two places that we can go to help explore what that means, to see what it means in their real time. Union House and Union City. Union House is my term for the Pennsylvania State House in Philadelphia. You know it as Independence Hall, which really you kind of think of Nation Hall, right? It's Union House first. The First Continental Congress met there. The Second Continental Congress is meeting there right now, 250 years ago, in their real time ongoing. That's where union is being grappled with, groped with, if I could use that term, not even managed, where it's just being wrestled with as they try to figure out what does the Union mean for 13 colonies. Now, we've always talked about this stuff in terms of 13 colonies, and that's fine. But I want to talk to you about it as the Union House. That's one half of these two places, the Union House. What's going on there? We're having speeches, we're debating things, we're deciding things. Now, there's not really laws, are there? Because there's no lawful mechanism. They haven't signed a document like they will in the same space in 1787 to make the Constitution and the government that you and I now try to understand. So that's not happened. This is all obligation, commitment, kind of binding resolutions and things of that sort, arguments and all the rest. That's what's happening in Union House. Second Continental Congress, 250 years ago. Now, what else? Union City. You got a Union House in Philadelphia. That's the Pennsylvania State House, where the Second Continental Congress is doing what the First Continental Congress did. But in Union City, that's a different deal. I almost said bigger deal, and I kind of think it is. That's a different deal. Union City is formed in a semicircle outside of Boston, half moon shaped. It has about 27,000 people living there. It's the second largest community in the British colonies, behind Philadelphia as it happens. 27,000 people made up of the following: Continental Army soldiers, militia who've not yet joined the Continental Army. We've got women who are moms and grandmas and aunts and sisters and girlfriends and wannabe girlfriends and pretend to be girlfriends and all the rest who are affiliated, associated with, supporting these men who are volunteering or whatever we're going to call them in the Continental Army and the militias. We've got also men and women who are selling things to them, who are supporting them through food and uniforms and medicines and all kinds of other things. There is a city that is formed organically back in the spring of 75, but now officially in the summer and fall of 75, where there's a Continental Army, and it's receiving authority from Philadelphia. It's receiving money and support, and it's ready to do things. It's ready to shed blood. It's already done that at Bunker Hill. It's ready to shed more blood if they can figure it out. Remember, George Washington has just had his first big meeting with his officers a couple of weeks ago. Should we or should we not attack Boston directly? They decide no. Union City is fully operating, and it's wild and it's raucous and it's rough, and you got men bathing naked that Washington wants to stop. You got people stealing things that Washington wants to stop. You've got people conducting mini mutinies, M-I-N-I, mutinies that Washington wants to stop, and on and on and on. You got latrines, and you've got sex in the woods and whatever else. It's a city. It's a city. Union City. Now, are they debating things, resolutions like we talked about in Union House? No, they're not. They're not doing that. They're doing other kinds of things. It's more authority-based. It's more power-based. It's absolutely imagined as coming out of the mouth of a gun or the end of a blade of a knife or a bayonet or a sword. So it absolutely has the potential for bloodshed, as we talked about. That's what its purpose is. and a lot of other things too. But Union City, many people will begin to understand what's happening to them through the lens and the stories of Union City, and not through the lens and the stories of Union House. So, two big centers of union. One in the a room of the State House. We're going to call it Union House, and then one across the acres and acres and acres and town and town and town that comprises Union City. That's 250 years ago today. That's the big idea, Dan, for this week. We have Union City and Union House. Well before we have any nation declared and signed on to and things of that sort. Well before language has been considered and debated and edited and finalized in a Declaration of Independence. Union City, Union House. Well, I'm going to wrap up. I want to invite you to do something for me. Now tomorrow, God willing, tomorrow I'll be sending out my podcast on the Pro Football and America 250 Week 4. So you might want to keep an eye out for that. It's got a really interesting thing that we're going to dive into. I'm Dr. Dan Miller. You're on the 250 River with Dr. Dan. Feel free to reach out, and until you do, or until I see you next time, have a great day and a great rest of the week. Bye-bye. Oh, I'll turn you off this way.